our culture, our God. And many of us, by the way we act, we even lost our mind.
This is Shadow Master MC, and you're listening to the Power Style Radio Show, Chicago's #1 source for hip-hop and street dance culture.
Welcome to Power Style Radio. I am your host, Ang13. I'm so glad that you guys were here to witness some of the greatness that is bestowed upon us this evening. And I bet you're wondering to yourself, who the fuck is she talking about? I'll tell you. I'm going to tell you who I'm talking about. We are talking about the most extraordinary man in the history of hip-hop. And I say the history of hip-hop because without his involvement, a lot of you probably wouldn't even be in hip-hop. So he is the catalyst for making it pop. His name is the one and only Charlie Chase.
Thank you.
Was that too much for you? I mean, are you feeling like you're...
It was a bit much, but I'm starting to get used to it now.
You should be used to it, man. I mean, really, I wonder how people who are in the industry, how they view themselves. You're an innovator. You don't know that you probably were the reason why a whole lot of people jumped in because they didn't see themselves in it in the beginning. And you were the representation that you could be in it, and it was cool. You were a part of what was going on. But when it first started, did you feel like you could be in the culture?
At the very beginning, didn't even realize we were starting a culture.
Yes.
Remember, excuse me, we were doing this before there was a hip-hop industry. We were just doing this in the streets. You know, it was all happening in the streets, and it was all word of mouth. You know, that's how way down in the beginning it was. You know, we didn't call it hip hop, we called it the jam. When's the next jam? Yeah, you know, or we call somebody up on the phone, yo, Chase is playing here, or Flash is playing out here, or Theodore's here, or Herc is there. I mean, that's the way we did it. So we didn't know we were creating a culture, or even now a multi-billion-dollar industry.
Do you think like it was something in the air? Because I think back then, I remember being really little when hip-hop, that we know as hip-hop, started to form. And I think that everybody was on the same wavelength and didn't even know it. But we were all coming together for something that was completely new. Yeah. So I feel you when you say we didn't know we were creating a culture. I mean, besides just the jam, did you get the whole... It's a fad thing. Did you get that from your parents and the people around you?
Oh, not from my parents.
No, not from your parents?
It was like, you need to stop that man, okay? Jose, he's working. You need to get a job, okay? You need to stop this. Nah.
Sounds like B Street.
Yeah, no. In reality, we felt something. We were gravitating to what we were doing. We didn't know at the time where it was headed. Remember, there were no records at the time. We just knew that we were onto something, and while we were doing it, people were pushing us on. You know, those that believed in us and those who understood it were pushing us on. Personally, myself, I knew we were onto something. I didn't know it was going to be a business. I'll say it again, but it's just that something told me, hang with it, keep doing it, and we did. That was just it, man.
You know, I read somewhere that, I mean, you guys, when I say he's a legend with it, like, you released music a long time ago, like you were 16 years old. I mean, if it wasn't hip hop, what was it? I mean, was it then that you knew that? I mean, how can I say it? Did it start there? Did it start with your first record to know that you could change the world? Because that's exactly what y'all did.
Nope.
Didn't even know y'all was changing the world.
No, none of us did. None of us knew it. We just knew, like, that set that I played, that B-Boy set.
Which was a B-Boy's dream. I was going to ask you about that because we couldn't stop tapping our toes.
Right. Back then, we didn't call it a B-Boy set. It was just, we were just jamming. And we took beats from anything. It didn't matter what genre it was. If it was funky or it felt right and the people were moving to it or we liked it, we played it. And we weren't scared to break records at the time. We weren't scared to break beats. You know, like, people were like, don't play that's whack. They're going to say you whack. You got to play what he's playing. Well, that never occur to any of our minds. We were, if anything, I was trying to outdo you if you were the DJ. I was playing a break you didn't have. I didn't care what it was. If it was funky, I'd just play it. And that's how it really started, with the break beat. So when I played the break beat, that's what I was hooked on, the break beat, and then of course it graduated to other things.
Now, see, the break beat is where it actually kicked off here for Chicago too. We were waiting for that one particular part of the song that we get down to where there's no singing and stuff, and that's what our MCs would wait for, that particular break, and that's what that one good dancer would wait for, that one break. So, do you even break records anymore now as a DJ? I mean, I don't see too many. I don't even hear about DJs breaking records anymore, and they don't know how important that was.
It's just now that the industry is so broad now, and everybody gets the same thing in such a wide stroke that nobody can really say. Everybody gets it at the same time. So who's to say who broke it first? You can't even, monitor something like that anymore. Like when we were doing it, no one was doing it. So we knew that if we were playing something, we were breaking it. Like one of the break beats that I broke was, what was his name? It was the hand clapping song, Ever Ready, by what's his name? Johnny Taylor. It was a song that I broke. It was cha, 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 cha. And it was
Are you
simple.
talking about Johnny Taylor?
The singer.
Yeah,
The R&B singer from the 70s.
Okay.
We were breaking songs like that from the 60s and stuff. Stuff that people had forgotten about or didn't know. We were just finding jewels. That's where we went. That's how we found the break beats.
So, with a lot of the record stores being non-existent, how do you find those rare gems now? I mean, do you see yourself doing a lot of traveling? You making phone calls to find out somebody's doing a yard sale? I mean, how do you get it now?
Fortunately, for those of us who are able to travel, like I find myself blessed in the sense that I can go out to other countries. I still get booked. So every time I go to a country, where's the record store? I ask, and they'll say, oh, there's a record store here. Or some of them DJs that are out there already, oh, yeah, you can go out here. And they'll take me there, and we'll start digging on and see what they got. Because there's so much music all over the world that we don't even know about.
Right.
We go in there and find gems, man.
The gem finders.
Yeah, that's it.
The crate diggers. That's exactly what he is, the originating crate digger. Right here, Charlie Chase, DJ Charlie Chase. And if you are thinking to yourself, why do I know that name? It's because this particular DJ was probably the first DJ that you've ever known in your entire life. That's right. I know you're the one I first knew. I appreciate you coming on Power Star Radio and talking to us just for a little bit. But where do you see this music going now? I mean, you came from an era where it was, I don't want to date you, but I'm going to do it. Reel to reel, cassette.
8-track.
You won't even further back. God damn. Okay, and then wax CD and digital. How big of a transition was it to go from those tables to Serato?
Well, to be honest with you, one of the first people that had Serato, actually, let's go before Serato, was Scratch Live.
Okay.
Right? DST, Grandmix of DXT, who's Herbie Hancock's DJ, Rocket, from the song Rocket, he won the first hip-hop DJ to win a Grammy.
Right.
He had gotten a copy from Serato. It wasn't Serato, no, from the people who created Virtual DJ, not Virtual DJ,
Scratch.
Final Scratch. That's what I was trying to say. Final Scratch. He had gotten a beta copy of it. And he says, look, man, I don't DJ no more. I can't do anything with it. So he gave a copy to me and Jazzy J. Actually, he gave it to Jazzy J first. And then he said, give it to whoever you think can do something with it. And Jazzy gave it to me. So we started working with that. And as soon as I found out that I could leave my records home and I can travel the world without all my crates, I was like, I was sold on that. It's over. It was over.
Wrap it up, B. It's done.
Absolutely. I didn't have to go through the headaches of the... like, for example, I had a gig in London. All my music went to Amsterdam one night. On the same night that I arrived. So these are the nightmares that we deal with. So when that came into play, I was sold on that alone. That was it. That was sold on that alone.
But how was the transition? I mean, you really going from bringing records to now everything is right on a laptop. I mean, just the transition from doing it all here and from repetition to having to use a computer.
Right.
How was that a transition?
There was a bit of a learning curve, because although I'm a nerd when it comes to technical stuff, I didn't have a computer.
Thank you. I'm a nerd too.
I didn't have a computer, but I learned right away. I got on it. I mean, I was so amped about this technology that I sat down for hours and learned it and worked it, and so there was a learning curve, but it was easy for me. It's kind of hard for other people, I guess. If you're not used to it, but it wasn't hard at all, man. It really wasn't hard. And the fact that now, before this, I would have to take maybe 6 crates of records on tour. Now I can take my whole collection if I wish. It's all on my hard drives.
Okay, so then you have to worry about what if something happens to your hard drive.
Right, and for years I was always scared of that. So now I have everything backed up to a cloud. Everything, my whole collection.
Everything's on the cloud.
So even
awesome.
if I lose all my equipment or there's a fire in my home, God forbid, or whatever, I'm good.
And
Equipment you can always buy.
Technology. Yes.
Mhm.
That is one good thing about technology. I mean, it took a lot of jobs from people, but somewhere the ease of it has made it easier for somebody to do something.
Now, just a bit of a comment. You have your purists, who always criticize, this isn't that, this isn't hip hop now. And I always tell people that hip hop was born on the premise that we took something from nothing and made it to what it is today, because that's what we did. We took nothing and made it into something. Grandmaster Caz says it best. Hip hop didn't invent anything, but we reinvented everything.
Yes, sir.
And that's what we did. So when we were able to do that, we were able to create the genre hip hop. Now, when people come out with drum machines and all that other stuff, they're incorporating them into the sets. That to me is dope. That's dope. That's innovative. You're just pushing the genre further.
Right.
I don't see any reason for anybody to criticize that. I think it's absolutely. It's amazing what some of these kids are doing today with the technology. I mean, me, as long as I've been doing that, I'm still learning from some of these young kids who are doing what they're doing.
Are you getting any pushback from them as far as the old way of doing things compared to the newer way?
Never.
Never got pushback?
Nah, I never got any pushback. You might get a knucklehead or there who really doesn't know his history, and they'll make a comment or something.
Right.
You gotta let that slide. You gotta pick and choose your battles. But anyways, so I never. To be honest with you, I'm very fortunate, and I'm very blessed that nobody has ever come at me in a negative way or sideways. As a matter of fact, since I've been doing this and I started touring, I've been to countries that I have never been to in my entire life. And as soon as I get off the plane, I have friends. I mean, they're friends there already. People wait for me. They want to take me out to dinner. They want to do all kind of stuff. They want to show me things.
That first day of kindergarten. You know that friendly day that everybody was down with you, throwing pounds with you, eating sandwiches with you. That's what I'm talking about. Yes.
I'm blessed.
And I feel that when you leave where you are and can get love for what you do, there's nothing like it. You can sustain your entire life on just the love of people loving you do what you do. So, what is coming up? Are you mentoring? Are you starting any new anything? Are you passing the torch? Because that's one of the things we were talking about, where we're seeing that a lot of people who are the innovators of things, we're noticing that the torch isn't being passed. They're living their, I would say, their dream to the end, and not allowing someone else to continue on with the culture itself. I mean, is that something that you actually do, or?
I would put it to you this way. There are a few people that I mentor right now currently on the private side. I mentor, but with me, I'm an open book. Anybody will tell you. If you could stop me in the street and we'll talk. I've never met you. You have a question for me? We'll talk about it. We'll rap and chop it up. I have no problem with sharing the knowledge. But what I can tell you to summarize that up better is, if you're paying attention and you want to continue in this, just watch what I do. Every time I do something, I'm opening that book for you to view, for you to learn from, and take it from there. You know what I'm saying?
Do you still talk to any of the members of Cold Crush?
Yeah, me and Grandmaster Caz, we keep in touch the most. Every now and then I'll speak to Tony Tone,
That's dope.
Yeah, we still keep in touch.
That's good, man. I mean, I mean, because it was the 70s when y'all got together.
Over 40 years.
That's a long.
That's a marriage. That's a marriage,
And then
man.
a lot of us say we married hip hop. Yes, it's a different type of marriage when you can say that you've been having your day ones around you since day one. So, that's wonderful.
They're still continuing to do their thing. Me, I felt that I needed to move on. You know what I'm saying?
We ain't gonna see no tours. Y'all gonna be like, it's
Man.
bringing it back. Oh.
Nah, we're good, man. We're good. Yeah.
No romance is fantastic. None of that.
None of that. None of that.
Okay. I want to thank you again. We don't have to
You're
talk
welcome.
anymore.
Thank you for inviting me.
Man, thank you for even being here because we need to see that it can be done, and we need to see how long it can be done because everybody wants to put a time limit on hip hop when it's timeless.
Absolutely.
You see it every day. These perfect examples that we can live our entire life and our dreams through hip hop for as long as we can breathe. Your voice, your presence is needed. And thank you, brother. I
Thank you so much. I
coming
appreciate
through.
you. Thank
And
you
this
for
is Power
inviting me.
Style Radio. We're going to have a little bit more coming back a little bit later. But for right now, we're going to get into hopefully some new music. Mose, what do you think?